Who knows about how to make wine? Anybody?
No.
All right.
Pour it in the
So
barrel, let it
let's
ferment.
just talk about the reds, and then at the end we can talk about what you do with whites. So we don't grow any grapes. We go and pick up our grapes in Paso Robles. And when we get them, we meet the grower the day he's picking the grapes. And they usually have them at the winery where they're gonna do the first steps in the winemaking. So we show up, and there's 50 of these picking containers. Each one of them has 1,000 pounds of grapes in it. And we they say, how much did you want? Oh, you want that many pounds? Good. That one has that many pounds. So we're using the same grapes that they would make. Now this Cabernet that you're drinking, if it was sold out of their winery after their process, it would sell about $30 a bottle. Okay? We don't pay that much for it. We pay about 75 cents a pound for the grapes.
Yeah, but you have to go through that whole process.
It's a labor of love.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first step then is we pay them a little extra, and they do a little process called destemming and crushing. So quite literally, when they come in from the fields, their grapes, they look like the clusters that you buy at the store when the grapes are small compared to what you buy at the store. Okay. So there's a big machine, and it has this special tool that pulls the grapes off the skins, the stems. And then the stems get spit out one direction and the grapes go the other way. They go into a thing they call the crusher. And it's not really it's not a crusher, but it's a thing like your grandmother's wringer washer.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got little teeth on it. And so you set it to the size of the grapes, and the grapes go through and it just breaks the skin. So the grapes, the skins, the seeds, and the juice all fall into the fermentation tanks. Now, you walk past the fermentation tanks on your way in, they look an awful lot like trash cans, but they're fermentation tanks to us.
I was wondering about that.
Okay. Why do they have so much trash? Yeah. So we fill those up with what they now are calling must, because we've busted up the skins and you've got it in the containers. And we bring that back here. We bring it into the winery. You're standing in the winery right now, and we stack them up in here. And then we put the yeast in. We make a starter. We put the yeast in, and then we let it go. And the fermentation takes care of itself. About 3 times a day during fermentation, we come out and we stir the grapes. The fermentation process takes the sugar that's in the must, in the grapes, and the yeast digests the sugar, and the byproducts of its digestion process are alcohol and carbon dioxide. So the carbon dioxide grabs the grapes and it pulls them to the top, right? Like a fizzy drink. Yeah. Pulls all the stuff up to the top. So you have to keep it from, you want the grapes, the juice to have a lot of contact with the skins, because the juice when it first comes out of the grapes is clear, right? It's a clear juice. Mm-hmm. But you don't want clear red wine, you want red wine. So you leave it on the skins and you get that skin contact, what they call color extraction. And that little silver tool right there, we just come out and we punch the thing down 3 or 4 times a day. And after about 2 to 3 weeks, the fermentation's all done. We then take it and put it through the press, which you're standing in front of right there. So literally, we take the stuff, scoop it out with a big pot or something, and we pour it in there. And the skins get caught in the inside, and the wine leaks out and runs down out of the little spout there.
Oh, yes.
We catch it in a bucket, and we pump it out of the bucket into a big tank. So we've separated the skins from the wine, and then the rest of the process after that is nothing more than waiting for the wine to clarify. All the crud that's still floating around, when you get it, it's like unfiltered apple juice or pulp in your orange juice. Mm-hmm. And so that stuff all, just like in your carton, it settles to the bottom, right? And you shake it up so that you get some. Well, in winemaking, you just leave it on the bottom. And then after 2 or 3 weeks, you pump the wine off the top, leaving the plug of crud at the bottom, which is a nice, beautiful Merlot purple color, about the color of this press, sitting in the bottom of this thing, and it will stain anything. You don't want to get it on you. So we put it down in the garbage disposal, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so our pipes stay nice and clean. It's a little acidic. It's a pH of about 3, and so you have to be a little careful. You don't want to overdo your pipes. You can cause problems that way.
You don't compost it?
Well, it's stinky. We did that one time.
Okay.
We poured it in the flower beds, and it got moldy and nasty, and we eventually dug it back up and threw the trash.
Okay.
It was nasty.
Yeah.
So, after you've gotten it off of the skins and you've gotten it off of the worst of what they call the lees, which is that plug that forms at the bottom, it goes into the barrels.
They call it what? The lees?
Lees, L-E-E-S.
Okay.
Yeah, lees. and the grape skin mix with juice, that's called must. So there's terms for these things. These look like Sparklets bottles, right? No, these are carboys. There's special terms in every industry.
Carboys?
What are those things?
Those are, well, that's got Chardonnay in it.
I was thinking that might be Chardonnay.
Yeah, that's Chardonnay. The barrel in the corner, those two barrels all have Chardonnay in them. And as the wine sits in the barrels, there's an evaporative process. So some of the water vapor gets out around the edges of the staves, around the bung, and so on. And it actually pulls a vacuum. You weren't here when we first pulled these out, but when you pull the plugs of the bungs out, you actually have to work at it to get it to come out because it's trying to suck it back in the vacuum.
Wow.
Yeah. So you have to keep filling the barrels back up, right?
Oh, that's what
That's what this wine is for. This wine
oh.
is for filling the barrels back up.
Huh.
So I do that about every, I don't know, a couple of months. I come out here and I open up all the barrels and fill them all up, and then put the corks back in and leave them alone.
Sort of a ceremony.
It's a ceremony, yeah. Actually, the real ceremony is when you start the fermentation.
Maybe that.
Anyway, so the rest of this is, after it's been sitting in the barrel for a while, what the barrel does is it concentrates the wine because the water vapor leaves, so the wine, the components that make up the wine become more intense. Also, you're extracting oil out of the oak, out of the wood, and depositing that into the wine itself. When you talk about a wine that has a lot of oak flavor, what you could do is just grind up some oak chips and stick them in your wine and you get the same effect, right?
Put it in a steel.
You might have to strain it through your teeth. There are people actually who do all of the processing in steel drums. They have far fewer losses because they don't have much evaporation, but they put oak chips in it, and then they take that off. Right.
I went to a winery in Guatemala that does just that.
Right. So then at the end of that process, we filter the wine. Hi, Rico. Rico's the owner. He's the owner.
Rico.
Rico and Bogey, they own the winery. We just work here.
What kind of dogs are they?
These are Hungarian Vizslas.
I remember that. Yeah, I dog
They're
breeds.
good dogs. They're good dogs. He doesn't like her very much, does he?
But he likes it.
He loves a kisser.
I have 3 corgis in my house
Oh,
right now, so.
No, we don't bite. We
So-
just kiss.
There you
We
go.
just kiss.
So when you've decided that the wine is ready to be bottled, then what you do is we take it out of there, we filter it to get the last of the whatever's floating around in there out,
All that stuff.
and then we bottle it. We set up a bottle of wine in the other room, and we bottle it. We can bottle as much as 35 cases an hour.
Wow.
You get a
Cases?
You hand do them yourself, or?
Yeah.
Now you can't sell them, right? I mean, that's what it. So what do you give them? Everyone gets wine at Christmas? Or?
absolutely.
Would it be on your Christmas list?
Absolutely. Now you just come by. So you can see we've built a backlog of wine that's here. But what we can do is we can sample out of the barrels. What we'll do is we'll start with the 2011, which has been in the barrel about 3 months. We couldn't leave that alone.
Can I ask?
What helps you? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Right?
What helps you decide that you're ready to bottle them?
Okay,
I
so
thought that too.
I answered that question a while ago. It's with the other people who were here. So it's a pretty simple process. Oh wait, I'm supposed to be in that barrel. The process goes like this. I was at a winemaker's dinner, and a guy named Jim Clenenden, who's the winemaker at Aubon-Cremant up in the San Ynez area. And somebody asked him that very question: how do you know the wine's ready to bottle? He says there's 2 ways to know. You're out of stuff to drink, or you're out of money.
Okay.
Okay? But on the other hand, what you'll see here is...
But it's taste, isn't it?
It's
Basically?
taste, yeah. What you'll see here is after you sample this 2011, you'll know it's not ready to bottle yet. When you sample the 2010, you might be unconvinced, and by the time you get to the 2009, you know it's ready to bottle.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So you can see how the wine changes over the year. So since I can't pick up this barrel full of wine and pour out of it, I have a wine thief. That's what this little gizmo is called.
Wine thief?
Thief,
Thank you.
like stealing.
Thief. Thief, I like that.
Cheers. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, you don't want very much of this.
Oh, really?
And pour it out if you
new.
don't like the taste. It's very new. Have you
That's
ever
good.
tried
Do we have
Nouveau?
a place to put them?
Nouveau, yes, right behind this young lady. Would you like to try some? You can pour that out in there if you'd like.